Guys, Kenwood Sports back with another video for y'all. Week 2 is in the books. Week 2 is in the books. We own the week 3. But before we go off into week 3, I'm going to give y'all my top 10 teams of the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks. And pretty much, I feel like these are the teams that's pretty much going to be around this top 10. So, to start it off, the first team, the number 1 team in my top 10. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the bottom. The number 10 team. Number 10 team is the 49ers. Now, the 49ers just lost Trey Lance, and Jimmy Garoppolo came in, got the win for those guys. The first game that they played against the Chicago Bears, I feel like they would have won that game if it wasn't so sloppy, wet, and raining. But they're 1-1 right now. The team is comfortable with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, continuity, great defense still in place. I feel like they're going to have a good season with Jimmy Garoppolo back in there. Even though I still thought that they was going to have a good season with Trey Lance in there at quarterback. But he went out. He got season-ending surgery on his ankle. So he's going to be done for the year. So moving on. Number 9 team, another 1-1 team, Green Bay Packers. They lost the first week to the Minnesota Vikings. They came out this week, got the victory. Aaron Rodgers, he had a better game than he did the first game against the Minnesota Vikings. The receivers played a little bit better than they did this game. Then to my number 18, the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, man, they got a win that was pretty much improbable. They were down 21 points in the fourth quarter, came back and beat the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens Lamar Jackson was having a game. I think he was the first person to have, 75-yard rushing touchdown and over 300 yards passing in one game. I believe that's what it was. It was some record that he set. So that's number 18, the Dolphins. They 2-0 right now. So Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, both of those guys went off for over 150 yards and 10 catches each. If I'm not mistaken, Tua had 6 touchdowns in that game. People talk a lot of noise about Tua. I wasn't one of them. I know Tua been plagued by injury ever since he was in Alabama. I felt like he was a good player. I feel like he had a strong arm, even though he's small. He one of the smaller guys. Sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer than it takes other people to adjust to the game of the NFL. So right now, I got the Miami Dolphins at 2-0, sitting at number 8. Number 17, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens defense, I don't know what happened to those guys this game against the Miami Dolphins. They 1-1 right now, should easily be at 2-0. I feel like they're going to shake back next week. They're playing the Patriots. That'll be a good game to check in and tune in to. Mac Jones and Bill Belichick. I feel like their defense is going to step up. They did lose Wink Martindale. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I believe he's over in New York right now. But the Ravens, that's my number 17. Number 16, might be a surprise to some, but the Eagles, 2-0 right now. 2-0 with a great performance last night. They put on against the Minnesota Vikings, which now is 1-1. The Eagles is 2-0. I don't know for sure if this was just it was 24-7 was the final score. The Eagles did not score in the second half. The Minnesota Vikings, they scored 7 points total. They scored 7 points total. So the final score 24-7. Jalen Hurts, he had a great game. The mix between A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, right out the gate. Devontae Smith, I don't think he had no catches that first game, if I'm mistaken. No catches. He came out the gate, got his hands on the ball. Jalen Hurts got some good receivers over there. He got Dallas Goedert. He got A.J. Brown. He got Devontae Smith. They also got one of the receivers from the Colts. I can't think of his name right now. It's slipping my mind, but he also a good weapon to have for those guys. So that's my number 16. We're going to continue to keep our eye on Philadelphia. They at Washington next week. We're going to see what they do. We're going to see how Jalen Hurts progress. I like his leadership. I like how he ran the ball, and I like how he passed the ball last night. He looked real good out there. I give him his credit. Number 5 team, with 1-1, the LA Chargers. This a team that I really love, man. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they're gonna be in the AFC Championship versus either the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. We're gonna see how it happens. I don't even think they can. I don't know if the Chiefs and the Chargers can play each other. They're coming out the same division. I don't know if they can play each other in the AFC Championship. But I feel like it's gonna be the Chargers or the Chiefs out of that division going to the AFC Championship versus the Buffalo Bills. That was a great game. I liked that game. It was so many opportunities for the Chargers to run away with it. I feel like that turnover at the goal line for the Chargers. I don't know what these coaches are doing these days, but when you at the goal line like that, your first play should be a run. Your first, you're gonna have to just stop me in the backfield. Going up for a pass that close to the red zone, close to the goal line, it's just dangerous. It's too big of a chance to make too much on the line. I feel like they would have got that score right there. That would have been the momentum. They would have went up 7 right there, I believe. I believe that's to go up 7 right there, but the Chiefs ended up going up 7. They got a pick 6 to the house, a 100-yard take, and that was the momentum switch of the whole game. Justin Herbert got hurt after that, probably on the next drive or so, and we all know what happened after that. The Chiefs ended up winning that game, I believe, by a score of 24-27. That's my number 5 team. I love the way their offense work, and I love the way their defense work. Derwin James, like I said, they added Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. They got Bosa on the line. They just got hitters all over the place. Also on the offensive side. So that's going to be one of my teams I feel like going to give a deep playoff run. They didn't even make the playoffs last year, and I've been speaking highly of them ever since. But let me move on to the number 4 team. The number 4 team is the L.A. Rams. The Rams came back and they beat the Falcons. They was favored to win that game by 10 points, but they ended up winning it by like 6 or 7 points. Falcons came back a little bit. They were down double digits for sure, and they ended up coming back in that game. I still believe in Matthew Stafford. I still believe in Cooper Kupp. The run game got to get going a little bit more. They need to get that run game going. I definitely believe in that defense with Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Leonard Little, those guys. I still believe that defense can get the job done. They had a little slow start when they played against Buffalo, but they got the win with the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not sure who they're playing next week, but that is my number 4 team. My number 3 team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now 2-0 behind Tom Brady in a stout defense. That defense allowed 10 points against New Orleans, and they beat the Dallas Cowboys. I believe it was like 19-3 in week 1. So they allowed 13 points in 2 games. Jameis Winston was throwing the ball away left and right in that second half. But I'm going to get into my breakdown on that in a little bit. The Bucs versus the Saints. The Bucs, Tom Brady, he not looking like he usually look, but the thing is he getting the wins. He 2-0. He 2-0. That's the only thing that matters, that they 2-0. They won both of their matchups. So that defense is playing some real good football. One of the top defenses in the I mentioned Jamel Dean. I mentioned Winfield. I mentioned Shaq Barrett. Akeem Hicks, even though I hadn't really seen him out there. But Vita Vea, guys like that, they stout up there up front. My number 2 team is the Kansas City Chiefs, which is not a surprise to anybody. With Patrick Mahomes on your team, he going to make it happen. Patrick Mahomes will pull a rabbit out of a hat in a minute. They came back against the Chargers when it looked like it was going to be out of hand, but the Chargers defense was the one who really saved that game, I feel. They the one who got the pick 6 and put them in control of that game. We all know when a momentum swing like that is pretty much going the other way when the momentum swing. But when you got Patrick Mahomes on your side, he don't have Tyreek no more, but he still got Travis Kelce out there. They added Juju Smith-Schuster. They added Marquez Valdez-Scantling also. You still got Andy Reid at your coach. Their defense is not as good as it was at first, but they still got Big Chris Jones up there playing on the defensive line. So the Chiefs, they're going to be my number 2 team for right now. We'll see what the Chiefs do later on down the line. Like I said, I still feel like they're going to be one of the teams that can possibly be in the AFC Championship. Patrick Mahomes has been in 4 straight AFC Championship games. So That's number two. My number one team, the Buffalo Bills, and they've been at around this number one since late last year or the beginning of this year. You can say game one when they beat the Rams. They beat the Super Bowl Rams with no problems, dominant fashion. Same thing last night, dominant fashion. They put it on the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, when they lost AJ Brown, that was a big loss to them. And then when you playing from behind most of the game, beginning of the game, you can't really run the ball. Derrick Henry, we all know what Derrick Henry represents when he coming out that backfield. You cannot run the ball like you want to when you're down by double digits early on in the game. It's going to be a passing game. And when you got Tannehill back there, he bound to throw it away. He threw one pick at least last night. I'm for sure about that because I was watching the game at that time. I ended up tuning out and watching the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings because I felt like that would be a more competitive game, even though the Eagles ended up winning by 17 points. But that's another story. The Buffalo Bills, I feel like they're going to be up there, one of the teams that can possibly be in the Super Bowl this year to represent the AFC. That's just my opinion. They still got to go back out there and beat the Chiefs because I don't think they did that yet. In an important game, they got to beat the Chiefs when it matter in the playoff time. I know last year in the playoffs they came very close to beating the Chiefs, but the Chiefs ended up getting away with it. So that's pretty much going to be my playoff, my championship team in the AFC. That's what I feel anyway. So that's my top 10. Get back with y'all in the next video. In the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna do another top 10. That'll be after 4 games, and we'll see where everybody rank it and see how my top 10 shake out.